All right, motherfuckers. Now, right there, I just lost half the viewers. I am so sorry. Sorry, TJ.
Bitch.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but listen, I meant to say, howdy, motherfuckers. That's why I live with my mother.
I get it.
Yeah, what I did was a little switch. Anyway, I put the effort. Never mind. Welcome to the Best Picture podcast. I'm Brian SCOLARO. That's TJ Miller. Say hi, TJ.
Hello, TJ. See what I did there?
That's right. You did. Like a little Gracie Allen. You look sort of like Where's Waldo and maybe Freddy Krueger when he was like 10.
Interesting. You look like...
I know what I look like. Garbage bag with eyes.
You live with your mother.
I look like a garbage bag with eyes. Oof. Like you, the trash heap. Remember the trash heap from Fraggle Rock?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know, the first episode, she had no eyes. And they were like, we got to give her eyes. She's fucking terrifying.
I mean...
Anyway, how you been?
You look like the junkyard woman from Labyrinth.
From what?
From Labyrinth.
Oh, you know, I never saw that movie. I think that was written by Terry Jones from Monty Python.
Yeah, that's Kate's favorite.
I know.
Movie, and we end up watching it, once a month.
Everybody, women love that movie.
Women do love that movie. the grandiosity of we've talked about a lot of these, but just that, it is so big, the scale and the size and the scope, and you're just watching this and you can just only imagine. What year is this?
But it won 1959.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's
big scale. Well, this is what the notes that I have say.
Let's hear it.
The fastest grossing as well as highest grossing film of 1959, becoming the second highest grossing film in history at the time after Gone with the Wind. It won a record 11 Academy Awards. It holds the record still with Return of the King and Titanic, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor in a Leading Role, Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Best Cinematography. Also won the Golden Globe Awards for Motion Picture, yada yada. You know what this is William Wyler, who did Best Years of Our Lives and Mrs. Miniver.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And what else? He holds, I didn't know this, William Wyler holds the record for 12 nominations for the Academy Award for Best Director. 12 nominations, holds the record. Ben-Hur had the largest budget of $15.175 million, as well as the largest sets built of any film produced at the time. And it also, I guess, they hired like 2,000 artists to build statues and everything. So it was a big fucking movie, man.
Yeah, and I mean, everything was so big in the Roman times that in part it was being able to capture that.
Yeah.
It really did. And I've seen a lot of parts of the film. But even that guy getting trampled.
How do they do that? That guy, I mean, I could see him behind, so it looks like he's trampled. But that one part, he looks like he's fucking really being trampled. Like it looks like he gets run over by the cart as well.
The only thing that I can imagine is they interchanged a stuntman, and they may have made the horses have room for him in the middle.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean we should read that though, but it's it's pretty. I'm gonna look that up because that is really impressive, and that's got to be part of it.
Right, it's crazy.
It's got to be part of it.
But I mean, this was definitely besides Gone with the Wind, this is probably the biggest picture at the time to win an Academy Award. Like that. Yeah. I mean, that's just a pretty big spectacle. That's a fucking Coliseum there.
Yeah,
and that alone, building a fucking real Coliseum.
What else is that big? I mean, Titanic, Saving Private Ryan,
and Return of the King, which was mostly, like they had a lot of CGI in that, but
oh, look at this, Snopes. It's false. A stuntman was killed during the filming of the chariot race scene in Ben-Hur, and his death was left in the final cut.
Oh,
that's false. Hold on, that's false. The chariot race required 15,000 extras on set, constructed on 18 acres of backlot in Cinecittà Studios outside Rome.
Wow.
15,000. Tour buses visited the set every hour. 18 chariots were built, with half being used for practice. The race took 5 weeks to film, and it said, were horses hurt? Filming Ben-Hur, not a single horse was injured. I doubt they would have said that, whether it's true or
not. William Wyler seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's not that hard with a chair. I mean, a horse could have hurt its leg.
I mean, that was it's like Cecil B. DeMille's the famous movie, the one with the Ku Klux Klan and all that. What is that called? What's the big famous silent movie? The Kodak.
C.W. Griffith, and it's Birth of a Nation.
C.W. Griffith. It's not Cecil B. DeMille. D.W. Griffith. So that movie, that movie's a big spectacle as well. They have the big elephants that are now in the fucking Kodak Theater.
And that's one of those things where you can't. they couldn't really fake stuff, and they probably only had one or two. They can't do it again because film was so expensive.
Yeah. 5 weeks shooting one scene. Did he? So the stuntman didn't die. Because it looked like
did not die. Half of them went to Charlton Heston. 18 Roman chariots were built. Both actors spent long hours trying to learn to ride the chariots. For Heston, it was faster and easier to learn to ride the chariot. He's a gifted and talented horse rider. Took longer for Boyd. They left only extremely hazardous scenes to their doubles. It doesn't really say
how they did it. Yeah, but it's. I think you might be right, because how could he go under the horse's legs and under the chariot if there wasn't room between the wheels and between the horses? But it really looks like. I mean, it really looks like he was.
And they must have put what would they call that? A fake body. I mean, what is that?
He rolls over. That looks like a human. He literally rolls over, like he's
like this,
Yeah, and then when he comes out, when he rolls under the chariot, he rolls over, and you see it's not a fucking bag of sand or a mannequin. It's a fucking human being. But the story is interesting. They really didn't know much about Ben-Hur, but it's basically he's like a prince, a Jewish prince. And then, he falls in love with his slave's daughter, basically his butler's daughter. And she has another suitor, and the suitor frames him and puts him in prison. Then he becomes a gladiator, fights his way up, but then it's along the lines of Jesus. And the cool scene in the movie, from what I read, was that he, at one point, when he's a slave, he falls down and he just wants water, and they deny him water. And a man comes up and gives him water. So later on, at the end of the movie, he's at the crucifixion. And he recognizes that Jesus is the guy who gave him water. So he runs up and gives Jesus water. So he is basically the character in the Bible who runs up and gives him water. It's in the Bible. So it's interesting that they
killer. Wow, what a killer beginning and ending.
Yeah, and that's what I guess kind of Hail Caesar, the movie they're shooting in Hail Caesar, is kind of based on.
Yeah, that's right. That is. That's so funny. And so I want to tell you this: the shocking moment of that was the actor said the potentially life-threatening. I'm not sure the studio would be happy about it, but I can tell you, a stuntman was thrown. Keble said, 4 horses carrying a chariot leapt clean over him. The actor said the potentially life-threatening situation concluded in what he dubbed a miracle. The stuntman was left unharmed. So what we saw with the problem with the chariot, he falls onto the track and all 4 horses jump. So those horses jumped over him. So all of this is real, right? That he's like freaking out but the horses jumped over him.
Wow.
So but horses jump all the time. My buddy who I just visited in Asheville, he rides horses, and then there's another hunter jumper thing where they you run them through the forest and they jump over any obstacles. They're going to jump.
But the chariot ran over him then. The chariot is not alive. It can't jump on its own because he gets run over by the horse.
The chariot, I guess, was wide enough that he just went under.
Ah, crazy.
The problem would be the horse legs sort of trampling him.
Oh, that would be the really bad part.
Yeah, that would be. I like that. The chariot rolling over him, that'd be fine. That's a breeze.
Well, I mean, that's a C or a B. Horses stomping on your bones. That's an A. But either way, it's very interesting. And also that's why Charlton Heston was so. I don't want to say egotistical, because apparently he was a decent guy, but he was very much like he wanted to be. Do you know that he wanted to be Chief Brody in Jaws? And when Steven Spielberg said, "No, I want a newcomer, but I'll work with you in something else." He goes, "I'll never work with you ever again. I'll never work with you." He had a little bit of an ego because of this movie was. The biggest Oscar winner at that time
Massive. Yeah, massive.
Like Titanic and fucking Return of the King came later. So he was, you know, he's like a tough Tom Hanks.
Yeah, at the time, right. He was Tom Hanks with a gun. That's why you invite me on the show, for jokes like those.
This is your show. It's our show. The anyway, so that's interesting. All right. Next one.
All right, sorry I took so long on the phone, but we're all set.
All set for what?
I rented a car. We'll be here at 1 o'clock. We're driving down to Atlantic City.
Atlantic City?
Oh, I know it's a drag, but you can't find a hotel room in town, not on New Year's Eve.
Ring out the old year, ring in the new, ring-a-ding-ding.
I didn't plan it this way, Fran. Actually, it's all Baxter's fault.
Baxter?
Hey, wouldn't give me the key to the apartment.
He wouldn't?
No, he just walked out on me. Quit. Threw that big fat job right in my face.
The nerve.
Yeah, little punk. After all I did for him. Said I couldn't bring anybody to the apartment, especially not Miss Kubelik. What's he got against you anyway?
I don't know. I guess that's the way it crumbles. Cookie-wise.
What are you talking about?
I'd spell it out for you, only I can't spell.
Happy New Year, friend.
Are you all right?
I'm fine.
Are you sure? How's your knee?
I'm fine all over.
Mind if I come in?
Of course not. Let me get another glass.
Where are you going?
Well, who knows? Another neighborhood, another town, another job. I'm on my own.
That's funny, so am I. What'd you do with the cards?
In there. What about Mr. Sheldrake?
We send him a fruitcake every Christmas.
I love you, Miss Kubelik.
3. Queen.
Did you hear what I said, Miss Kubelik? I absolutely adore you.
Shut up and deal.
I just think that it's like to end with that dark of a joke and then that sweet of a funny joke.
Yeah.
You know, you got two great jokes in there. One incredibly dark and funny, and then the other just really, honestly, I hate to be this guy, but just so feminist. You know, so sort of the girl's in control. She sort of shuffles. He, you know, cuts the deck, and then And Jack Lemmon's so great. That's Shirley MacLaine, right?
Yeah, Shirley MacLaine, who looks great. I've never seen her in that type of part.
She's beautiful, and also, we know her from when she's much older, and so she was just so gorgeous and sprightly then. But
I always think of her with when she talks about reincarnation, and she's in that one bit in Past Lives Pavilion in Defending Your Life.
Welcome to the Past Lives Pavilion. In a moment, you will be asked to place your right hand.
Where she goes, hi, I'm Shirley MacLaine. It was such a big laugh in the theater. I didn't get it because I didn't know, but that she was all about reincarnation. But anyway, she was great. I think also it's not just feminist. It's also like, I'm here, aren't I? It's New Year's Eve, and I'm here. I love you too. I think that there's a little bit of that.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's part of it too, is that it's sort of, it's I've done it all. And great, of course, great bit also to everybody saying should old acquaintance be forgot, cut back, and Fred, I think Murray, right?
Fred McMurray, who's great. Fred McMurray is always good.
And he turns and they pan down to the empty seat. I mean, even from those two scenes, you see how it's really sweet, really funny, and just great. And there's a big argument about whether or not it's a comedy.
Well, there's so many things to talk about here. First of all, that it is a comedy, and comedies very rarely win or are ever nominated. You got Annie Hall, The Apartment, and then you got a bunch of supporting roles like Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost, or Marissa Tomei in My Cousin Vinny, or Kevin Kline in Fish Called Wanda. But really, I can't think of any other comedies that have won Best Picture.
No, there aren't, not at all.
Or even been nominated. Also what I like about this scene is that you don't have to know the movie to get the scene. That when he says, he wouldn't let me use the apartment, you're like, okay. And he goes, he didn't like you. And she's like, he won't let you use the apartment because he likes me. But and then she runs to him, and you realize one guy's got money because he's the boss, one guy doesn't, he just lost his job, and she runs to the guy she loves. I love that, So the film follows an insurance clerk, Jack Lemmon, who, in the hope of climbing the corporate ladder, lets more senior coworkers use his Upper West Side apartment to conduct extramarital affairs.
You see a girl a couple of times a week just for laughs, and right away they think you're going to divorce your wife. I ask you, is that fair?
No, sir, it's very unfair, especially to your wife.
Yeah.
He's attracted to an elevator operator, Shirley MacLaine, in his office building, unaware that she's having an affair with his immediate boss, Fred McMurray. It's awesome, and it's Billy Wilder. And then you realize how much
again.
Yeah, how much he's done that was different from all the other movies. Double Identity, Double Indemnity, Lost Weekend, which he's already won for, Sunset Boulevard, Stanley 17, Sabrina, The 7-Year Itch, Spirit of St. Louis, Witness for the Protection, Kiss Me Stupid, The Front Page, and the number one comedy of all time, according to the AFI, American Film Institute, Something Like It Hot. The guy is terrific, You can't probably, I don't know how, if he's not on the top 5 directors of all time.
Oh, he is. And Steven Spielberg considers him the absolute best. I mean, he's as much a part of cinema as any director, as D.W. Griffith even,
Yeah, I guess so. And you're a big fan of his, but you like this movie because you spoke about it before.
I love the movie. It's one of those ones where I said, I really need to I need to know, I just do. I need to sort of know what this comedy is all about, because Annie Hall is one of my favorite movies of all time, and this is really considered one that is a comedy but was the best picture of that year, and it's just amazing. And it's a different time for sure, of course.
Yeah.
But it's it's kind of end of the 50s, beginning of the 60s, and that's why they could do the extramarital affairs. I think that's another reason that they thought it was so good that's the 60s of it, is they had gotten to a point where they didn't need to pre-code type of deal
Right. Yeah.
Or whatever. They didn't have to worry about the code, and they didn't have to. So I think it's really, really interesting, and it's about infidelity, and it's about men sort of being
Back then women dated their bosses. That's what they did.
Exactly. That's how you got the job.
Yeah. And now they're still allowed to do it, but we're not allowed to ask them.
They have to make the decision. Right.
And if Jack Lemmon had been fat, he would have been spending New Year's Eve alone. I'll tell you that, TJ. What I love about Jack Lemmon is that I was thinking about him a lot today. He has my favorite gravestone ever. His gravestone is just like a movie credit, just says Jack Lemmon in, and then there's his grave.
My God, that's so funny, dude.
So he just was a funny guy. He was an everyman, which is what people kept calling him, that he was an everyman. And he was a fantastic actor in so many movies. And I love in The Out of Towners, when the manhole cover explodes, it wasn't supposed to go that high. And it really did blow his ears out. And you can see it hits his leg. And so a giant piece of metal hits his leg, and he keeps acting. He just walks towards the camera like that, but he's in serious pain. But that's one of my favorites. And I also love how when Ving Rhames, you ever see Ving Rhames give him the award?
No.
I want to show it to you. It's really good.
And is Mr. Jack Lemmon here? Is he here? Would you please come up here, sir? Come on. I feel that being an artist is about giving, and I'd like to give this to you, Mr. Jack Lemmon. It's yours.
This boy is crazy. Crazy. I wish I could accept this. And I can, but I won't. I knew that Don King was a character, but I didn't know you were crazy. That is one of the nicest, sweetest moments I've ever known in my life. Really. And if you think you appreciate the art in somebody else, ma'am, we appreciate the art in you. That performance was brilliant. Anyway. Can I get you to take this? Well, I'll get it to you. Anyway. I'll think of something. I have had some marvelous moments at these ceremonies over the years. But the next category is Time's Up. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, this is the most memorable moment of the years. Anyhow, I'll see you in a minute.
That is so cool. And I love that he's so blown away by it what happened, that he really doesn't have a speech. He just not to kind of.
Well, I think also they stayed friends and talked on the phone a lot after that. And,
of course, I mean, that's a nice thing you can do. But what is the movie that Bing Rames is
he
in?
won for it was a TV movie about Don King, and
because I thought that was a pretty racist joke that Jack Lemmon.
they played Don King, but also what I like about Jack Lemmon, and the reason I showed you this, is how beloved he is among his peers. A fucking Goldie Hawn's crying. Everybody's Jodie Foster's crying.
What performance did he lose for?
I don't know, but it's just a TV movie. But it's how I just love how all his peers love him. Like they're like, if that was me or you, about half people would clap. You know what I mean? This guy is.
People would be like, "What? What is this about?"
But like, I think they like he's such a he is on screen who he is in life. It feels almost. You know what I mean?
I think that's true, and that's the case with a lot of. That's the case with a lot of movie stars. I think you kind of what you see.
Yeah, but it's like he happens to be such a great, nice guy and funny guy. I don't know. He just. I think half the reason the apartment won is him. You know. I think they were like, who's this guy? This guy is great. You know.
Yeah.
I think that he just came on the scene and everybody fell in love with him. You know. He could do comedy and drama at the same time in the same line reading. He could do comedy and drama. That's fantastic, you know. That's how real he is. You know, I loved him for that.
Yeah, and you're right. There aren't a lot of people that can have comedy and the drama in the same line. You're right. He's sincere and dramatic, but it's also funny. And I think part of that is because he's just funny. He's just a funny guy.
Yeah, that he is. Yeah.
I like to be in America. Okay, by me in America. Everything free in America.
For a small fee in America.
Buying on credit is so nice.
One look at us and they charge twice.
I have my own washing machine.
What will you have though to keep clean?
Skyscrapers bloom in America. Cadillac zoom in America. Industry boom in America.
12 in a room in America.
Lots of new housing with more space.
Lots of doors slamming in our face.
I'll get a terrace apartment.
Better get rid of your accent.
Life can be bright in America.
If you can fight in America.
Life is alright in America.
If you're all white in America.
It's so weird because I really started like tearing up during that.
During that?
Yeah, and I think it's so interesting because it's just a dance move. But clearly it's like about America and the American dream and immigration and all these things that, we talk about now, but more than sort of talking about them and how present it is in modern day conversation, this really was a time where this racism was sort of really rampant, but the streets are paved with gold was also there as well. And then when I was just thinking about it, I was like, oh man, I texted Kate, I said, we should watch West Side Story. And I haven't done that with a lot of other films because she might not like them or they're not her cup of tea, but this is one everybody can get into. It's just, and Americans love musicals. And the other thing that I thought was so fascinating was then I said, okay, well, I got to watch, but how will I remember what the 4 movies after this are? And I thought, like after this podcast, and I thought, well, I'll just remember West Side Story. And that's also how memorable it is.
Yeah.
It's just, it's in your head, the dancing, the story, the switchblade scene, all that is just there. And I haven't seen, have you seen Steven Spielberg's remake of it?
No, I have not seen it. No
And
offense
so
to him.
I think part of that is there's a component of that which is a little like, why?
There was, no, I love Spielberg, but I was confused why as well. I think he just wanted to do a musical. I don't know. I don't know why he did it.
He always does stuff for a reason.
Yeah.
And I can say that because I know him and I bring it up a lot. No, I think, the post was because the fake media, the media was getting attacked. So he wanted to remind and reflect the integrity of a lot of publications and what they've been able to do. And I think this was his sort of immigration, children kept in cages at this point.
Yeah.
So I think that really was what he wanted to do and contribute there. It's hard to do that with a musical, and that's not his forte. It's like comedy.
I didn't see it, so I can't judge what he did. I just know I asked my mother what was so special about this movie. She said, well, when it came out, there was nothing like it. Never before. Well, there was always musicals like Oklahoma. You know what I mean? There was never a musical about gang wars. You know what I mean? So to have like 3 people to get stabbed in it and die, and then to have all about 2 different races, and it's also based on Romeo and Juliet. So to have all that going on, nobody had ever done that before. And also, among the things that I read about it, West Side Story, 1961, American musical drama, filmed by Robert Weiss, Jerome Robbins, and written by Ernest Levin, produced by Wise. The film is an adaptation of the 1957 Broadway musical of the same title, which in turn was inspired by Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet. Stars Natalie Wood, a poor tragic end to her, Richard Beymer, Russ Tamblyn, Rita Moreno, George Chakiris. And also the music was composed by Leonard Bernstein, with lyrics by Stephen Sondheim. And so when you think of those two, you realize why those songs are still with us. Why everybody knows the song. The other day I was walking down the street going, I took a shit in America, I took a poop in America, I took a crap in America, I took a shit in America, my poop an American citizen. Yeah. Like I was just doing that walking down the street and everybody was just looking at me. But that happens because
I thought you were in church, but I think you're absolutely right that song is just catchy in a permanent way.
Yeah,
and I think it's funny that your mother put it that way. That she said this is a sort of it's a musical about gang warfare. Yeah. I just don't know why, but I don't really think of it in those words. But she's right. And there's just so little that's like that, and there hasn't been one since. And yes, the Juliet thing, but it really is. It's really a memorable movie. It stays with you.
The highest,
a lot of dramatic musicals. There's like Miss Saigon and what else,
Highest grossing film.
I was gonna say has a little bit of a. There's a musical, but it has a little bit of a Saturday Night Fever. Right. Tonality to it.
Yeah. And also I think the video Beat It was kind of based on the dance sequences, I think. Also became the highest grossing film in 1961, nominated for 11 Academy Awards and won 10, which made it, it's still to this day the highest the highest Oscar wins for a musical ever. 10 nominations. Best Picture, 1. Best Director, Jerome Robbins, Robert Wise, 1. Best Supporting Actor, George Chakiris, 1. Best Supporting Actress, Rita Moreno, 1. Best Screenplay was nominated for, didn't win. Best Art Direction, 1. Best Cinematography, 1. Best Costume Design, 1. Best Film Editing, 1. Best Score, Musical Picture, 1. Best Sound, 1. As well as an Academy Honorary Award to Jerome Robbins. Pretty fucking, this was probably... when you read the top 10 musicals the other one time on the show. Was that number one, or was Sound of Music number one?
Sound of Music is just such a classic musical. And I think that's why it would be number one, and it is.
Interesting. West Side Story's got to be number two, right?
West Side Story is no. Singing in the Rain.
Wow, that makes sense.
And we talked about this. And Wizard of Oz is number 3.
Yeah.
And so Mary Poppins number 6.
West Side Story is lower then because it involves Puerto Ricans. Racism still in the AFI.
And that is the thing that they were talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about the thing that made them go all the way to.
And you want to talk about
West Side Story is better than The Sound of Music and Wizard of Oz. So to beat Wizard of Oz to me is more impressive than The Sound of Music.
Wow. And you want to talk about a Best Supporting Actress winner, riding that out for her whole career in a great way, Rita Moreno.
Have you met her?
No, but I feel like, and also when they say there's no colors that win, I always think of her and Jose Ferrer. Who's in the next movie we're going to discuss. I don't know how to pronounce his name, Jose Ferrer, but he was like the original Javier Bardem. When nobody mentioned that Javier Bardem, that nobody said he was the first Latino to win. He really wasn't. You got Rita Moreno and you got Jose Ferrer, who won.
No, it's pronounced Josie Ferrari.
Is it really? Is it really? No, but he where Jose Ferrer. Yeah, I guess he won. He won Best Actor for Cyrano de Bergerac, and won. And he was not. And I think he also won for Moulin Rouge, which is completely different than Cyrano de Bergerac. And he won Best Supporting. He was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Joan of Arc. But so he's actually in this next movie, although he's not in this next clip. Damn good Oscar. These are 4 movies that I feel should have won. You know what I mean? These are 4 movies that I can't look at and go bullshit. These are, and especially this next one. This next one I watched this movie by myself one day in my old apartment in LA. And I don't know why. You know why? Because the guy who won for The Departed, the guy who wrote The Departed, he won the Academy Award. And he goes, what made me want to be a screenwriter was Lawrence of Arabia.
The movie that made me want to be a screenwriter was Robert Bolt's Lawrence of Arabia. And I don't know what could have happened in the universe to end up at the same Oscars as Peter O'Toole. So it's crazy. He's there. I've seen him. So anyway.
When he said that was his best, it was a screenplay that made him want to be a screenwriter. I went and watched it. And it was this scene I'm going to show you that made me go, this is a good script. And it was this, because up until this scene, I was like, what am I watching? And then this scene happened, and I was like, this is a fucking great script. I'm really happy to watch this one. I've been waiting for this one just to show this scene.
But
Who is he? Tapas!
He is dead.
Yes. Why?
This is my well.
I have drunk from it.
You are welcome.
He was my friend.
That?
Yes, that.
This pistol yours?
No, his.
I absolutely love that scene for so many reasons. First of all, the direction of David Lean, where he's just in the distance, there's a little dot. And David Lean said he wanted that to go on for 5 more minutes.
Really?
And then people convinced him to cut it. But just how it just takes forever. You don't know what it is. Is it a threat? Is it not a threat? What is it? And as it gets close, it's so tense. And then it gets closer. And the reason the screenplay grabbed me is that these two guys are from different countries, different cultures. How do they communicate? So it's got to be simple. Who are you? He's dead. Yes. He was my friend. That? Yes. That. Like, is this your gun? No. His. Everything is simple, and it also carries such gravitas because it's simple. And the rage in O'Teal's face that he can't fight this man because he's just killed a guy. He's got no weapon. He can't just fight him. And he's got to sit there and defend how he feels with his words. And yet, so he understands it, and yet, simple, it's just so, like, I was riveted by that scene when I first saw it. I was on the edge of my seat. He was just like, he's dead. Yes. Why? Just so fucking simple. You know, when the angry you get, you either say 1,000,000 miles, or you say 1,000,000 words in 5 seconds, or you say one word. You know,
Yeah.
There's so many reasons for that dialogue to be that way that when I think of Lawrence of Arabia, I think of this scene, and I think that's the scene this guy who wrote The Departed was talking about, because it is just, it draws you fucking in. Draws you in.
I don't really have anything to say about this that you said.
Do you agree?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think you said it all.
All right, well, the film depicts Lawrence's experiences in the Ottoman provinces of Hejaz and Greater Syria during the First World War. In particular, his attacks on Ankara and Damascus and his involvement in the Arab National Council. Its themes include Lawrence's emotional struggles with the violence inherent in war, his identity, and his divided allegiance between his native Britain with his army and his newfound comrades within the Arabian desert tribes. The film score was composed by Maurice Jarre. Jordan banned the film for what was felt to be disrespectful portrayal of Arab culture. Egypt, Omar Sharif's home country, was the only Arab nation to give the film a wide release, where it became a success through the endorsement of President Gamal Abdel Nasser. who appreciated the film's depiction of Arab nationalism. It won Best Picture. No, it won Best Director, David Lean. Best Actor, Peter O'Toole. It was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, Omar Sharif. It was nominated for Best Screenplay. One for Best Color, one for Best Cinematography, one for Best Editing, one for Best Sound, and one for Best Musical Score.
Wow.
But it's also got Alec Guinness. It also has Anthony Quinn, Omar Sharif in his first big role, who I always remember from Top Secret. Souvenirs, novelties, party tricks. Wait, you forgot your phony dog poo. What phony dog poo? He was terrific at it.
God be with you. Wait. You dropped your phony dog poo. What phony dog poo?
Souvenirs, novelties, party tricks. Souvenirs.
But he was like a handsome guy, and what he was. I remember a famous person said if Peter O'Toole was any more good-looking in the movie, it'd be called Florence of Arabia. She's like really beautiful in it. But he's. I loved the movie. Have you ever seen it?
I have. It was a long time ago, and it's so long, but I thought it sucked. So
did you really?
I thought everything that you said is pretty stupid. And no, it's a long time ago, but it's like, again, size and scope is so important in these films, but it makes you want to go back and watch it again. And you're right, because of that scene. That's how good that scene is. You go, oh, man.
And also the scene where the kid drowns in the sand. He's got two kids with him, and a kid drowns. A kid drowns in sand, and he stops the other kid from trying to save him. And he takes off his turban, throws it to the kid, tries to pull him out, and the kid lets go and drowns. And it's dramatic as fuck. The movie, he becomes such an Arab. He gets put there to lead the troops, but he gets so involved in the Arab world with the Arabs he meets that he loses his identity.
That happens. People assimilate. Kate's got me watching this show, The Diplomat, on Netflix, and the protagonist, Kerry Russell, sort of becomes so assimilated to her Iraqi nation or wherever it was that she kind of stops thinking like an American, and they're making her go back in and kind of, I don't think there's a word for the opposite of assimilate, but sort of differentiate herself. I don't think you can say desimulate, but and so I can see how that's a compelling thing because it talks about culture and identity and nationality and race,
Yeah.
But was it quicksand or slow sand? How long is
it's labeled as quicksand, but I have the scene if you want to see it.
It took a while.
Yeah, well, no, it happened fast.
So it is quicksand. I was asking.
It's quicksand. But I don't know, this would be like a pocket where there was no sand underneath it, so the kid sinks pretty quickly. But it's a rough scene. But also the most famous line from the movie is "Take no prisoners, take no prisoners," because that's the moment where he loses his complete identity of his British morals. And he goes, "Take no prisoners." He's basically saying, "Kill everybody." That's basically what he's saying. Kill everybody. So he loses his morals. That's
But that's kind of your attitude about sneezing or farting in bed. Is sort of a.
Well, no, take no prisoners. No, I really. I believe. First of all, I'm getting tired of all these women farting on Instagram. It's disgusting. Like, look at me, I'm a girl and I'm farting. Whoa. And there's guys at home jerking off to it. Oh, it doesn't make me go, oh, no, thanks. Women can fart, sure. My mother farted the other day. It's so weird when your mother farts because it's like, it's weird when something comes out of your mother. It's like, is that my new brother? I don't know. That joke never works on stage, but I like it. But another thing that should be said about this movie is Jose Ferrer. Jose Ferrer, he was initially unsatisfied with the small size of his part and accepted the role only on the condition of being paid $25,000, more than O'Toole and Sharif combined, plus a Porsche. Afterwards, Ferrer considered that his best film performance, saying in an interview, If I was to be judged by any one film performance, it would be my 5 minutes in Lawrence.
You have blue eyes. I say you have blue eyes.
Yes, Effendi.
Are you Circassian?
Yes, Effendi.
How old are you?
27, Effendi. I think.
Peter O'Toole once said that he learned more about screen acting from Farrar than he could in any acting class.
Wow.
But it's a great scene because he pretty much comes on to Lawrence of Arabia. He's his prisoner, and he's pretty much saying, "I'm going to rape you." You know, he walks in and he chooses Lawrence. He chooses to rape Lawrence. Yeah, it's a crazy movie. It's a crazy movie. I was so happy when we decided to do this because I wanted to talk about Lawrence of Arabia. Now there are scenes that bore the shit out of me. Where he's talking to Alec Guinness about what to do and what not to do, but it's necessary. But in particular this scene, and also that he says, why do you like the Middle East? And he goes, it's clean. He just sees everything as clean. It's sand, and everything is just clean to him. But the scenery in the movie, and it's beautiful, and the widescreen, it's great.
Yeah, and I mean, I think what's strange about that is that clean, whatever we think of beautiful vistas as water and trees and all that.
Yeah.
But this is the first movie and kind of the last to like look at the desert and show the beauty of the desert.
Yeah.
And, you know, I never thought of it, but at one point I went to Arizona and went on like a buggy tour. And I just thought it was going to be four-wheeling off-road. You know, there are a bunch of, you know, desert rats out there, desert people. And he took us far enough that we said, and it was so beautiful. The cacti, the sand, and the red kind of, the red pound, almost red and purple mountains and cliffs. Yeah. So it's really it's a climate that we don't think of as beautiful, but it's actually pretty.
Yeah, it is pretty pretty. But it's a great movie, and fucking it introduced Peter O'Toole to everybody.
I love these four movies. You're absolutely right. They deserve it, and I don't. Anyone who would say to me, "Nah, I don't care," then I would go, "Well, then I don't think you have good taste in film. I don't think you really appreciate film." And so I agree with that. And I wonder if the ones that the two of us have said, I don't know, or that might just be contextually they were from a different time and they maybe don't hold up. It's just because a movie doesn't hold up
doesn't mean it was good. Right, I agree. But also, I mean, if somebody said they found Lawrence of Arabia slow, I couldn't argue them on that. But the movie is a look at somebody's life, so it's going to be long. You know, and
a life in entirety, yeah.
But it's like when some of the movies we've done, I go, you know what I mean? Like that movie with the little girl in France. I didn't really, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, maybe I'd like it, but it's going to be Best Picture, I don't know. But also these movies, what movies did they beat? We should look at that. The Ben-Hur beat Anatomy of a Murder, The Diary of Anne Frank, and The Apartment beat out The Alamo, Elmer Gantry, so that's why it won. It was up against shit. West Side Story beat The Hustler. Wow. It beat The Guns of Navarone. It beat Judgment at Nuremberg. Holy shit. And you got to remember that a lot of Jewish people in Hollywood, West Side Story beat Judgment at Nuremberg. And Lawrence of Arabia beat The Longest Day, The Music Man, Mutiny on the Bounty, which is the second remake, I guess, and To Kill a Mockingbird.
Wow. Well, then there you go. That says again how great those two films are.
Exactly, yeah.
But, you know, I'd love to keep talking about this, but I think the best joke to ever end a podcast is every time you hear something come out of your mother, she'll fart, and you're like, oh, do I have a brother?
Is that my new brother? It was great seeing you. I'll see you in another 5 months for the next one.
No, we'll get back to it, and I keep saying this, but I'm gonna watch all four for this next round.
Okay, sure.